All right, let's make sure the audio's working. I think it is. Perfect. All right, today we got a sub-to deal, a subject-to deal, which means that you're taking over the existing loans subject to the existing financing. So this property is ready to sign, is a $40,000 entry fee pool home, 3-bed, 2-bath, $376,000 purchase price, minor touch-up. So that's probably just paint. PITI of $2,350. They said the rent is $2,500. Let's take a look at that. 4.5% interest rate, $11,000 arrears, and a mortgage payoff of $336,000. So total entry fee, including assignment fee, arrears, and cash to seller, is $40,000. All right, let's go ahead and see how this deal floats. Let me take a quick look at the property. This property has a garage, so let me just check the rents for a 4-bedroom, just in case there are ways for us to creatively get an additional bedroom, and maybe we'll get more rents. But you do have a pool, and that always is not fun to maintain. Okay, so we have the pool. Looks pretty turnkey. Probably got to spend some money painting the place, 15-20 square feet. So that's probably just enough to get an additional bedroom in there. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to look at HUD FMR. And we want to look at HUD FMR specifically because we want to see what the rent ceiling looks like. So this is in what county? Flagler County. So when you go to HUD FMR, you click on Access Smart Area FMR. Look up FY 2024 FMR, and then you go Flagler. And now you're going to get the rent ceiling by zip code. So there's 32164, 32164. And the rent ceiling for a 3-bedroom is $1,920. So let me write this one down, $1,920. Just writing this down so that my partners know exactly where I got this number from. And my 4-bedroom is $2,270. So write that in there. Both of those numbers are below the PITI, which was previously disclosed as $2,350. Okay, so if that's the case, you already kind of know that this is probably not worth your time if your only exit strategy was using it as a long-term rental for Section 8 specifically only. So 32164, 32164. Okay, we'll write this one down. The next thing I want to do is I want to get the market rent. So to get the market rent, I went to affordablehousing.com, went to the owner section, market rent estimator, plug in the address, and I see that this home as a 3-bedroom is rented out for $1,817. Where is this person getting $2,500 for rent? So not sure, but right here it says for 25 units within a 0.61 mile radius, average rent for a 3-bed is $1,870. Maybe it's just a pool, so maybe that's why they're charging them more. But for the most part, that does not corroborate. And that's why you got to figure out how to do research and see whether or not that rent amount that a wholesaler might disclose is accurate or not accurate. You never know if they're overshooting it. And even as a 4-bedroom at $2,272, that is still not a deal. $2,272, it's still not a deal, because $2,272 is still a negative cash flow when your PITI is $2,350. Now, if you guys want to walk you through and truly understand, like, hey, how much money am I going to lose on this deal? Well, let's go ahead and plug in some numbers, and you guys can kind of see why you rule it out pretty quickly, right? The whole point of that exercise was to quickly show you guys how and when should you quickly rule out a deal and stop analyzing deals. In this scenario, we did that because we said, hey, it's only been less than 5 minutes that we've been analyzing the deal, and we said, okay, that's not going to be a deal. And right then and there, you're good to go. Okay, put in the square footage at $3 a square foot to paint the place for the touch up. So I got a little bit about $7,000 in there just in case something happens. The arrears is 11. Okay, let me just put in everything, $40,000 all in together. Got that already included commission, so I'm gonna zero that out. I got 2% for closing costs. I got my $7,000 for renovations. There's no secondary loan on this deal. The mortgage payoff is $336,000, 4.5%. Doesn't matter what the start date is. The whole point is I want to get my total amount, which is my total PITI of $2,350. I'm going to take the $2,350. I'm going to put this in this line right here on property taxes, subtract the principal, and subtract the interest. And that's how I arrive at $647.54 for this property specifically. Now, the insurance number is typically embedded in that number. However, usually that insurance number is applicable for a prime resident. So I always want to add a little bit more to the insurance premium. And especially if you're in Florida, that insurance goes up crazy every year. So $30, probably the minimum I would put in there, to be honest, for Florida. That's why I personally don't invest in Florida. We got 10% for maintenance, and I got 8% for property management, 5% for vacancy. So on this deal, if you rented out this property at 1817, let me just do 1850 just for, you would be losing $955, 1850, and you'd be losing $955. Now let's say you got creative and said, hey, why don't I try to turn this into a 4-bedroom? And what was my maximum rent for a 4-bedroom? $2270. Even at $2270, you would still be losing $632 because just remember, you are losing money every single month. Oh, sorry, 2270 losing $632. You will be losing $632 because just guess what? Something in your house always breaks, or something in your house always needs to get replaced, from your roof, your air conditioning unit, your condenser, HVAC system, ductwork, water heater. Everything needs to get replaced at some point. So this money does not belong to you. If you don't set aside 5-10% of your rent every single month, then you might find yourself in a hole one day when you have a big item that needs to get replaced and you don't have any cash for it. And let's say you have let's say you were making like $100 a month, but all of a sudden you had to replace a roof for $15,000. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of months worth of cash flow. And if you didn't put that aside, then you would be in a really, really bad position, especially if you don't have like one property. So just be really, really careful about that. And this is how I ruled out the deal. So just to kind of recap right here, a couple of ways that you could have ruled this out, right? If you saw that the PITI was $2,350 and even the wholesaler is marketing the property at $2,500, that's probably not a deal because you probably got to take away at least 20-25% of the rent just for expenses. And if that's not cash flowing, that's probably not a deal. Now, the other way we went about it was, okay, what if this person, because it was 1,500 square feet, I thought, hey, let me take a look at the property. Let's see if I can creatively look for ways to increase the rents, such as turning a 3-bed into a 4-bed. Well, in that scenario, when I turn this 3-bed into a 4-bed, now all of a sudden, what's my maximum rent? And I got that from looking at HUD FMR. I already saw it was $2,270. I saw that the market rent was $2,272. So in that scenario, you have to take the lower two, which just happens to be the exact number, plus or minus $2. So now that you know your rent is $2,270 and it's still below the PITI, well, that's the point in time where I would have stopped analyzing the deal. Because guess what we're trying to do? We're trying to avoid burnout. And burnout typically comes from doing a ton of work without any expectation, without any returns on your effort. And if you don't develop your system on how to underwrite a deal and learn to effectively rule out deals as soon as possible so you don't spend so much time on deals that aren't worth your time, that's how you get to burnout, right? The whole point of this is just to outlast everybody. Because remember, most people are not willing to put in the work. Most people are not willing to be consistent. Most people will always have a reason not to do something. Your goal here is just simply outlast everybody. And that's it. That's how you become the 1%. You just got to put in the work. You got to put in daily habits, stay consistent with me. So this is why I do this every single day. I hope you guys can just copy my homework. Just DM me on Instagram, your email at investwithkenny if you want to copy the spreadsheet. I've been very fortunate. I've been given that spreadsheet by other folks, and I just kind of modified it and tweaked it so that it helped me underwrite really fast, really quickly, and it got a bunch of lists of potential rehab items that I go through. That's pretty much it. So analyze the same property I did today. Using the same spreadsheet, just pick one sentence or one part to explain it better than I did. Use a different analogy, whatever you choose, and just stay true to yourself. Be your own person. Be your own personality. And then put it on your own YouTube channel. Because when you put on your own YouTube channel, you're going to start creating that undeniable track history to remind yourself that you know what you're doing. So when you get scared, you probably will. Most people still get scared on every deal when they sign on a dotted line. It's not investment advice, by the way. I'm not soliciting any investments on this. But this is why we do this. We do this together so that it's a little bit less lonely. And we lift each other up and we support each other because that's what community is for. So I hope you all have an amazing Thursday. I hope you guys all spend some quality time with your family and friends today. Have an amazing Thursday. For those of you that don't tune in on Fridays or the weekend, have an amazing weekend. So that's what life is all about. Thank you so much. I will see you all tomorrow for day 230. Have a good one, everybody.